I don't know if the audio is working.
I don't believe it is.
I hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, okay, that's good. I can hear.
No one was talking.
I see.
Test, Tony.
Actually,
I think it's good now.
thank you. Let me know if it cuts out because we are still troubleshooting some things. I apologize. We are ordering some new equipment to hopefully solve this problem. I'm sorry, Mike.
It's okay. Under approval of minutes, it says motion carries 2-1 with Selectman Burr noting no. Should be voting no. Paragraph with the approval of the minutes, the last sentence. It says Burr noting no instead of voting no.
I think she was crossed up between you noting that that was a comment, was a correction to the last set of minutes.
It should have said motion carries 2-1 with Selectman Burr voting no. Okay, that's all. I make a motion to, unless Beth has something.
No.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of Tuesday, August 4th, 2026 as amended.
Second.
Any other discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. I would accept a motion to enter into executive session to discuss strategy and negotiations with respect to pending litigation, Graham versus the town of Thomaston, docket number LLI-CV-26-604-3430-S, inviting in Selectman Burr, Selectwoman Campbell, and Finance Director Tracy Decker.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Folks, we'll be back in a minute.
You have to say anything, like we're back on?
We are back. Tony, if you're not hearing us, let me
Okay, I have a motion. I move that the Board of Selectmen approve and authorize the first selectman to execute the settlement agreement and mutual release between the town of Thomaston and Susan Graham, resolving the pending litigation captioned Graham v. Town of Thomaston, docket number LLI-CV-26-604-3430-S, substantially in the form presented to the board, and to take all actions necessary to effectuate the settlement, including approval of a withdrawal of the civil action.
I will second that motion.
Okay.
All those in favor?
No discussion.
No, no discussion.
Aye.
Aye. Let the record show that Selectman Burr and Selectman Saleo voted aye. Abstentions?
Beth Campbell abstain.
Thank you. The next item under new business is discussion of alcohol on town property. So, just want to, tee this up for a second. I, I get requests from time to time. People want to bring alcohol into the parks or make requests, things like that. I was in the library and I noticed that they were having a function where they were promoting BYOB. And I asked the question of, why do they have that? Are they permitted to do that? Who's okayed that? And I think we have some inconsistencies. We've got policies that reference our ethics code. Our code of ethics, for example, says no alcohol on town property. We also, on the other hand, we have the Opera House does have a liquor license. Landmark holds that license, I believe. If I'm incorrect, please correct me, Mike. You probably know more about this than I do.
That's correct.
And then once a year, we permit alcohol at the Firemen's Carnival. And I will tell you that the fire department uses their nonprofit status to get a temporary license to serve. And they also get insurance for that event. So there have been other requests. There was a request to have a running race that ended in Nystrom's Park, and they wanted to have a keg, which I declined. So I feel as though there's some inconsistencies. I will tell you, and I will share with you that we have over the years permitted the public library to both serve. If we go back several years, you'll see on the screen, there's this, the planning and zoning issued this temporary liquor permit, which has since expired. But I just wanted to share it with you because it does have quite a bit of requirements in here for insurances and setbacks and notifications and things like that. Following that, another permit was issued, which was approved by Planning and Zoning July 24th, 2023, which granted a special permit, but also does not directly reference any need for insurances. So, a couple of things here. As you see the one on the screen, there's no signature on this document. I don't know why it was accepted without a signature. I personally don't know if it's required, but I don't think it's appropriate to do this, but perhaps it is through some zoning regulation I'm not aware of. What I will tell you is I spoke with Attorney Ryback about this, and he also directed me to speak with our insurance agent, Jason Barrera at USI, which I've spoken with him as well. Because there's a lot of moving pieces here. This is sort of a town entity that's given this, whereas the other two examples with the Firemen's Carnival and Landmark, that's a separate nonprofit that is carrying the liability. So right now, this scenario puts all the liability right on the town. So I've kicked this around a little bit. There is the possibility of the Friends of the Library as a separate nonprofit, perhaps securing an additional policy that would help, but the town is still going to be I always get this word wrong, suffragette. So, yeah, always a party. Let's just say that. Always a party to whatever happens here. So in both conversations with Attorney Ryback and our insurer, they definitely said, hey, look, if you're not serving and it's BYOB, it definitely lowers the liability, but just a little bit. And if there's a policy over and above the town, such as the one I mentioned as a possibility where the Friends perhaps could carry the liability, that would help, but not completely relieve the town. So, sorry for the long-winded explanation, but there's a lot of moving pieces here. I'm concerned with two things. I'm concerned with the liability that we may be placing on the town. And I'm also keenly aware of trying to be very consistent in how we approach these things. I don't know how to approach this. I think personally, we probably need to align as a board on what we should do about this. If the board thinks we should do something about this, I would like to have a clear policy as it relates to, alcohol on town properties.
Well,
So, personally, that's
yeah, okay, I have a question now. Where was that approving for? Can you scroll up? Is it has the property?
Yeah,
Oh, there it is. So that's for the library.
Yep.
And it references that the zoning has the authority pursuant by general statute. Zoning board has authority according to their own regulations and to the Town of Thomaston Code of Ordinances. So do we already have an ordinance that this is referencing that dictates how? Because it looks to me like the Board of Selectmen is not even involved here. It looks like if you want a liquor permit, you go directly to the planning and zoning to request it.
Yeah.
So my question is, if we already have a town ordinance that addresses that,
Tony, if you can come off mute for a second.
Yeah, what's up?
These lists that you gave me in the document on the screen, are they from a town ordinance?
go back up to the Ralph Salone one that you had previously. That one right there is a previous granting of a special permit to the library on July 24th, 2023, and the last paragraph says the authority for granting this permit is pursuant to CGS Statute 8-2, Town of Thomaston zoning regulations effective June 1, 2012, and revised January 16, 2023, and the Town of Thomaston Code of Ordinances. So it appears to me that we must already have an ordinance that says planning and zoning can issue liquor permits.
So I checked with Kathy. She does not see any ordinance. She directed me to Tony,
Okay.
who,
Well, they cite a town ordinance in their letter.
I understand that.
Yeah.
I think that's just a general thing they do when this was a template, so I actually did this because they hadn't filed it. They were supposed to file it, 2 weeks after July 24th, 2023. So it's just a template we use every time we submit one of these.
And look, I'm not saying who, I guess. I mean, I guess what I'm saying is, if planning and zoning is going to take on this responsibility, then we have to talk about how they manage liability and risk.
Well, planning and zoning is using as a template that we have a Town of Thomaston Code of Ordinance germane to this subject, and we better make sure we have one because that's going to bite us.
Yeah. And so the other thing about this is, I mean, like I said, it's got no signature on it, but it also has no end, which
There's no what?
has no end date and has no requirement for any type of liability or coverage.
Well, like Tony says, this is just a template they use, so I would imagine they put in new dates there. If they
This
do
isn't
it.
Sorry, Mike, I don't mean to interrupt.
That's okay.
This isn't the template. This is the document that was recorded. So you see this up here? This is
Yeah.
the recording mark, and this was recorded as received by the town clerk's office. I'm sorry, I didn't say that. I wasn't clear, but
2024.
yeah, so this is a received document permitting this use.
Okay, well, I would suggest that to zoning that we don't issue any more of these that cites a town ordinance that may or may not exist.
Okay. So you want me to start there? You want me to go back to
So I
E and
guess if
Z
we
and?
don't have an ordinance, we probably, is that where you're going? We should come up with one that says what the process is, right?
Yes.
Rich, do you have a copy of the other one from 2017?
This one?
Yeah, that one is, I would say this is a better template. This says that uh, they need to get liquor liability coverage, for example.
And this one is different though. It allows them to serve alcohol, which
Yep.
I totally not for. Look, I spent almost my entire career in this industry. And
Yeah, I know you have to take a course and be certified to serve alcohol,
Yes.
because I did it for my daughter up in Torrington at an outdoor festival, and I had to take an online course to be, I forget what it's called, um, but this looks like they had an event on 2017 and they issued a 5-year permit to the library. It expires March 1, 2022, so they had a 5-year permit to serve alcohol. And we even waived separation distance from public buildings, churches. And,
So-
I would, yeah, we need to dig in on this, because if we're gonna do this again and zoning's gonna be the one that issues this, we need to make sure Jason Guerrero approves of those liability numbers. Because it's probably 1 million each occurrence and 2 million in the aggregate based on what he gave me today for the RFP. So,
Yeah, so I'm sorry, I forgot this piece. So I did send this to Attorney Ryback, like I said, and I spoke with him. Part of his response says that zoning has some authority under section 8-2 of the general statutes, but this authority is limited by municipal ordinances and the State Liquor Control Act. As to Thomaston Public Parks, the zoning commission's authority is limited by Thomaston Ordinance, section 204-5 and 204-7. 204-5 makes it a criminal offense, punishable with a fine and a whole bunch of other things. But then it goes on to say that 204-7 charges Board of Selectmen. Hang on, Tony. I see your hand. You can come off mute, but give me 1 second to finish this. Thereby authorizing alcohol in a public park. So there is an ordinance. That ordinance only pertains to public parks. My concern is also about other town property and not just parks.
so maybe if we have an ordinance, we need to look at it and update it to what we want it to read, to include, right?
Yes. So, in short, is this board in agreement that we should take a look at this and try and clarify what's happening here? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. If we didn't I have a question for Tony. If we didn't take a look at this and the zoning probably would have just used a template and granted another permit to the library, right?
Yeah, no,
Most
they did.
most likely, yes.
Yeah, but they did go through a process. They did all those things where the other document stated where they had a public hearing, they posted it in the newspaper, they notified neighboring properties. They did follow their procedure for sure. But the question is, still in my mind, look, I'll be honest with you. I don't think we should allow this, right? Without some kind of extra insurance or whatever. And if this board has other thoughts on that, that's okay. We should discuss it. And I don't want to limit like events at the library with the BYOB yet. That's a bit tough, but we have to also consider the town's liability.
Okay, yeah, we definitely need to take a look at it, Rich. I mean, I'm trying to think other instances where alcohol have been like the car show. I mean, some of the downtown establishments will pour your beer or drink in a plastic cup and you go right out the front door and walk down the street with it. I mean, is that,
Right down.
I never did that.
that happens, I know it happens. But I don't know, do we need to do something that includes that sort of, event as well, you know?
Agree. I think, let me go back and hearing that there is some, interest to at least start unpacking this, and figure out what it should be.
Okay,
Let me go back and do that.
so when is their event at the library? The BYOB,
I think they have them regularly.
They do.
They do.
Have them
And I mean, I hate to see those programs, that,
I agree. So let's figure out what is the right thing.
right,
okay,
But with no extra liability coverage, no nothing.
right.
I personally, I'm one vote, but I'm personally don't think that's the right place to start.
well, I have a question though, that the example you use says their permit expired 2022. Do they get another 5-year permit that covers all their BYOB things going on now?
That would be this document, first, which was issued, as I understand this template,
Go to the bottom when it was recorded?
it was recorded in November of 2024, but I think it was recorded there because it was approved, and correct me if I'm wrong, Tony, it was approved toward the end of July, but this document that you see on the screen wasn't drafted yet. And I don't know whether I don't know when you started, Tony, this might have been done before Tony started, and when he got here, he said, oh, this never got done, so he picked it up and
Yeah, that one doesn't have an end date though, right?
doesn't have an end date, doesn't talk about liability coverage. Those are some of the things that I think would be appropriate. That's me.
So is there a cease and desist on BYOB at the library until we have this resolved?
I told them they can keep going.
Oh, there you go.
Well, because I told them we were meeting, and there was an event right before this. That was all planned, and
Yeah, I think until we get this straightened out, we shouldn't tell them to go ahead and keep going. Right? I mean, you're concerned about liability, but
I
then
am.
you just told them to keep going. I mean,
I did.
no, I
Yeah.
just think I can understand why you did, but maybe we need to put it on a pause until we get this resolved.
If we want to put a motion to that, I support that.
Do you know if they have much planned right now that's been advertised?
I do not. It was coming up before this meeting, Mike. It was already advertised as such, and then
That's fine, but I think we have to have our due diligence here, and I'll make a motion to pause BYOB at the library until we resolve the issue of the permit.
I will second that motion. Any further discussion?
Can I make one more comment?
Yes.
So I think with the reference about the town of Thomaston Code of Ordinances, I think it actually refers to that is what give us the zoning board the powers. Just say that's what I think. That's why it's in there.
Okay.
Yeah,
I-
thank
so-
you. I'm a trust but verify guy though, Tony.
Yeah, and
No, no, no. I'm just saying that that's what I think it refers to, not an actual statute. Just
Yeah.
that.
Our question, Tony, is is this permit that we're looking at here, is this a blanket permit just to proceed until there's no end date on this and there's no signature on the document, so.
Yeah, for some reason, I was looking at previous ones. Again, I had started 14 days before. This is how they would always submit them. Currently, I put my name and I sign it. And sometimes commissions put in, terms. This time they decided not to put in a condition of 5 years or whatever.
Okay, but does the library have one that you signed that gives them permission to have these BYOBs right now?
Besides this, no.
All right, Well,
So,
my motion is still on the table.
yeah, before we go further, I, I don't, I'm not 100% sure that we as a body can override this document based on what Mike Ryback said.
And to be fair, the previous first selectman also, he signed the application that got this approval.
And where would that signature and document reside?
That
I
it
think
ha- that it
I
have-
think I gave it everything to Rich. He has it.
While I agree with the motion on the table, I don't know that we have the authority to. At the moment.
Amend maybe the motion to have planning and zoning address this at their next meeting? Before we,
I intended to do that along with the review of the ordinances cited and maybe some more info. I don't know if we need a motion for that. I will do that. I think I have to go back, go to those ordinances referenced, maybe go back to Attorney Ryback, make sure I understand positioning here and whose authority is where. But there is an application with the prior first selectman signature.
Well, this looks like it was the application by Ed Moen that pertains to this one here. When was this one, what was the one from 2024 that was received? Because this is February of 2024. That's one, that's,
Yeah.
you guys have January, or is that 26, 2024? Well, I can't see.
So this application would have been submitted on February 6th of 2024. The permit applications are date codes as well. Permit application number is also a date code. Am I right, Tony?
No.
Yeah, I read through the minutes and that was February 6th. I remember.
Okay. I don't know whose handwriting is this. There's black ink and then somebody writes in something in blue ink that says 1 day evening per month. It doesn't even look like the same person filled out. I'm not even gonna. I'll withdraw my motion.
I'm going to withdraw my second.
Okay. But please check into
I
it.
will do some more work on that.
Thank you.
Next, we have old business. I just wanted to give you an update on the Thomaston Volunteer Ambulance Corps agreement. I took the existing agreement and converted it to a Word document, turned on reviewing, and brought it to the Ambulance Commission, where we discussed it. We talked about a few quick puts and takes. I asked them to provide their feedback through the document by adding edits or comments, whichever. And then I will bring it back to this board. In addition, I checked with Attorney Ryback as to the status since the agreement expired on April 30th of 2022. his response, which I've shared with this board, is that it basically continues as is on a month-to-month basis unless either party terminates it. So we're still operating under the terms of that agreement. Any questions?
Nope.
Water main break, they're still gathering information and working on the claim. Being the town of Waterbury. Their counsel is working on it. They submitted the claim, but it came back with a request for additional information. That's the status that I have so far. The Walnut Hill tree removal request, I had an arborist go to look at the tree. The arborist that works with our town and does a lot of trimming, Holden Trulove. He came back and said the tree's in great shape. He wouldn't really touch it. So I drafted a note and sent it to the owner of the house, not the renter, the owner. And they responded back to me that they love that tree. And if it's in good shape, they're happy to keep it. So that's that. High Street Extension camera work. So based on our last discussion of this, I went back to Attorney Ryback, and then we brought those comments back to the vendor, which is Savvy and Sons. And they made some changes. So, with some clarification in terms of what you had asked for, Mike. We'll do the road coverage. We will do some of any materials need to be hauled away. Our public works team will take them. So we will handle that. We don't have another vendor for this. Simply because there's just nobody that handles pipe this size and can try and fabricate a repair on the spot. We did some more research, talked to a couple other people. Nobody wants to touch it. In the meantime, I will tell you it's getting worse. We did a little bit of work up there. We actually took a quick look. And two things that we found. Well, one of them is we put some plates up over one of those driveways because we were concerned. We also put some plates up over some of the areas where it's sinking a little bit more. So there's that. But also part of the last repair, which was just finished about a year ago, the pipe is cracked and splitting. So we pulled out, Debbie and Tracy pulled out a bunch of information, and we think it's in the 2-year warranty window. So tomorrow I'm going to reach out to Yield Industries, see if I can get them to come and take a look at the pipe and see if they'll warranty some of that, at least to do some type of repair work on it. I would like to move forward with this because this is just getting worse with every heavy rainstorm we get. I would love a motion to move.
I make a motion to waive the 3 bid requirement for this project.
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries
I
unanimously.
just have one question on Savvy and Sons. The company name says Thompson Connected Public Works. Is that okay? Should it be the town of Thompson? That's probably
It should
fine,
be
right?
the town of Thomas.
Well, if they make that correction, I'll just make a motion that we approve this proposal by Savvy and Sons with a change in the company name to the town of Thomaston.
Second.
Sorry. Anything else, Mike?
No.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Give me 1 second. Nope.
Did I have to say something about it's 5 to 10,000, so it doesn't have to go to the Board of Finance? Okay.
Okay. Thanks. Nystrom's, any other comment on that? Sorry.
No.
Okay, next item is the Nystrom's communication tower. I haven't done nothing on that
Okay.
since the last meeting. The next item, Judson Street drainage pipe. I have also not worked on that. Boards and commissions, we have no resignations in front of us, although we might by the next meeting.
You?
And we have no appointments to make. Tax refunds.
Ready?
Yep.
Make a motion to approve the tax refund as presented by the tax collector in the amount of $26.93 to Mario Signori. In the amount of $117.85 to Raymond Purnell. In the amount of $43.53 to Paul and Julianne Hood. In the amount of $57.14 to Paul and Julianne Hood. And in the amount of $21.20 to Edward Orban.
Second.
Any discussion?
Nope.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
All right.
Next item is communications. I will tell you that I did speak with Attorney Rybeck about how we approve and read tax refunds. And I shared that information with you, but I will go through it here. He basically said, so it is not defensible to read them, to bulk approve them.
Fair enough.
So,
Thank you for that.
yep. And then, let's see, just want to make sure there's no other communication. Yes, sorry, one more bit of communication. As you know, we are trying to close out the town hall roof project. And we received an update today from Attorney Rybeck that the packages and the documents were delivered to both Atlantic Specialty Insurance and Young Developers. Although no responses have been received to date, the Attorney Rybeck continues to watch additional litigation being filed against both Young Developers and Atlantic Specialty Insurance, and neither of them have responded to any of the claims at all. So an update that nothing has happened, unfortunately. That is all the communication I have. Member comment?
I don't know if I can ask it in public session, but do you have any updates on any of the job postings?
Yes. And yes, I can answer this in public. So we had, for the public services superintendent, we had one applicant. I also selected a hiring committee that is composed of Mike Maddow, Joe Feiner, Tracy, and myself. We met once and have been in communication. We drafted a series of 12 questions that we will be using for the interview process. That interview is tomorrow at 6 p.m. We will then have a post meeting to discuss our thoughts, where if we're at a comfort level that is acceptable to all committee members, we may or may not make a decision at that point. I have a draft contract for that role. I've received two direct applications for the reporting coordinator, but I have two other resumes that were passed to me separately. So I will need to do some recruiting for that role to, I think, get the best person we can. And I've also met with the WPCA union rep to discuss the possible position for the public services administrative assistant role. There will be a meeting next week with our local reps. Next rep up. I'm sorry, I don't know the right word for that, but so to continue discussions on that role.
Thank you, Rich.
That's where we are. Any other member comment? Okay. Public comment? Nope. No. bad news. That drain, we think is a drain in the corner. It's completely filled with concrete.
It is?
It looks like it might be the polymeric sand, maybe? No. Or concrete, took the cover off and it's,
We're gonna go in there tomorrow. We'll look at it.
okay. But I did ask him to get some prices on gutters, so we'll see. Anything else? Anybody online? Eileen, you're the last one online.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.